Hello, welcome to the practice session of reading comprehension in this series. This series, as you know, is directed towards IBPS 2018 exam that is coming on, and the idea of this series is simple: to practice questions that have already come in previous year's paper and discuss them in detail so that we have an idea about how to approach those questions which normally comes in exams like IBPS, right? So agenda and methodology would be the same. The idea is to acclimatize ourselves with the actual questions and practice them. But this we are going to do in a test format. So we will attempt a test first, which will be based on previous year questions, and then while taking the test, obviously while taking the test, you would take care of the timings that I have already given in the on the slide. So you will be pausing the lecture for that much time only, which has been allotted for that particular slide, and post that we will discuss the solution, the detailed solution of these questions. So as you know, today's target is, and this lecture's target is reading comprehension. 10 questions. Normally we get 10 questions, 8 to 10 questions out of the 30 questions of preliminary from reading comprehension. Now that's 1/3 of the paper, right? So let's move forward and see how do we approach it. So first you will take the test according to the time limits that has been set, and then we will move on to the solution. In reading comprehension, there is one thing I'll additionally tell you, is that first I'm going to give you what will be the process of solving. First, I'm going to give you the questions. So I'll give you questions. There are 10 questions from one passage. One slide will have 5 questions. So I'll give you the 5 questions, first 5 questions on the screen. Give you 30 seconds to go through it. So what are you supposed to do? You would pause the lecture for 30 seconds, go through the roots of the question, whatever you can identify about the importance of that question, identify, resume the lecture, go to the next slide where there will be question number 6 to 10, and give again 30 seconds to it, pause the lecture for 30 seconds, and then I'll give you the passage, time to read the passage, and then we'll move on to each question one by one. So I'll give you the passage and question number 1, give you the passage, question number 2, and every question would have allotted time to it, right? So all times are fixed, all times are set. You just need to move forward and follow them and do the activity that has been asked from you to be done in that, right? Chalo, let's start off. 30 seconds for question number 1 to 5. Pause the lecture for 30 seconds. Done. Let's move on to question number 6 to 10. 30 seconds. Done. Now I am giving you the passage. 1 minute to 1 minute 30 seconds. If you are a good reader, fast reader, 1 minute. If you are not so fast reader, 1 minute 30 seconds. Pause the video for whatever time you would take between these two and start. Done with the reading? Now I'm going to give you the first question. The first question on your screen now. 30 seconds to solve this question. Done? Now the next question on your screen now. 30 seconds to solve this question. Done? Question number 3. 30 seconds to solve this question. Now we are moving on to question number 4. 30 seconds to solve this question. Halfway through, question number 5. 30 seconds to solve this question. Now we are moving on to the next half. Question number 6. Pause the lecture for 30 seconds. Next, question number 7. Pause the lecture for 30 seconds. Now we move on to question number 8. Pause the lecture for 30 seconds. The last but one question number 9. Pause the lecture for 30 seconds. And now the last question on your screen. Pause the lecture for 30 seconds. Okay, we are done with the questions. Now we move on to the solution part. Now, why did I give you the questions first? What were you supposed to do in these questions? Let me show you. I will solve these questions in the order that I had given you to do. So for example, I gave you first to read the question. So what is the activity that was expected from you is something that I'll show you here. In this time period, the 30 seconds that I had given you to go through the question number 1 to 5, you were supposed to identify the keywords or the main issues in every question. You could have noted down those main issues or keywords. You could have noted down those keywords or main issues or in your notebook, in your rough sheet that you have in front of you whenever you take a test, or you could have made a mental note of those words, right? Whatever you do, what is the purpose? The purpose is so that when you read the passage, you can very easily identify the areas from where the questions have come. This in technical term is called reference point. This is called reference point. So we were to identify the reference points in the questions. So let's see which were the reference points in the questions. Question number 1. Which of the following is the opposite of the meaning of the word ignorance? So this is the reference point. When you find out where in the passage ignorance has been used. Second one, theoretical. Third one, hazard. Fourth one, movement. Fifth one, acute. So you see, even without reading the whole sentence, because you don't need to read the whole question out here, because there has been an inverted commas out here. So anything within inverted commas, they are asking something about it. What they are exactly asking is not of use at this point of time. It would be used when we will be solving the questions. But at this point of time, to make a mental note of what are the important words in the passages that we need to look out for, you need only to have the words or those areas or references to those areas. So these are the references: ignorance, theoretical, hazard, movement, acute. Could this have been done in 30 seconds? Identifying the important words in these questions, could it have been done within 30 seconds? Definitely so. Next, question number 6 to 10. Before the rise of French Revolution, what was the main cause of alarm? So you see, there are two things that are important here. French Revolution, main cause of alarm. So that's a mental note that you need to make. Who shielded away from political democracy? Now that's the important word here. Third, question number 8, triple slogan of French Revolution. That was the important word here or phrase here. Question number 9, particularly congenial to moderate liberals. So that's what was important. Now, how did I identify that so easily? Because there was an inverted comma here. So whenever there is an inverted comma, that means that as it is, that phrase, that word would be present in the passage. So that gives a reference point to us to easily track down that particular phrase or word is there. Which one of these thinkers was anxious about safeguarding the rights of minorities? So rights of minorities or safeguarding the rights of minorities was the keyword or the main idea or in this question. So we have identified what were the main issues in these particular 10 questions. So now we'll move on to reading the passage. Now I'm moving on to directly questions because you have already read the passage. Now, when you are reading the passage, I gave you 1 minute to 1 minute 30 seconds because that's the time. You shouldn't take more than 1 minute 30 seconds in this kind of passage, my dear friends, because this passage was below 500 words, around 470 or 80 words, maybe lesser. So in this kind of passages, if you are not reading at a speed of at least a 300 word per minute, then your reading speed is seriously slow. With a reading speed of less than 300 word per minute, you're not going to crack as competitive an exam like IBPS 2018 or any banking exam or any exam that has such a huge competition waiting for you. So your reading speed needs to improve, and if it's in the range of 280 to 300, it would do better if you have a reading speed of 350 plus word per minute. But then 1 minute 30 seconds, more than 1 minute 30 seconds for reading this piece is something that you should not take. So let's so while you're reading, what would you do about the information that you got by reading the questions? So while you're reading, you will use that information to identify the main areas. For example, if you see in here, which of the following words is opposite in the meaning of the word ignorance? The moment you were reading this passage, or you started reading the first sentence, you would see that ignorance is here. So you'll not stop and answer the question. No, you are not going to do that. You will read the passage as a whole in the first reading. You will just make a mental note or write down in your rough sheet the broadly the vague line number in which the references have been made. So let's say this reference is in the first line, so you just make that vague reference in there. The first line, it is ignorance. So when you come across the question after you have read, you just know that here it is ignorance. Even if you don't do it, even if you don't write it in your first and the third line, there is anti-capitalist program. The fifth line, there is. So even if you do not make a marker of the reference points that has been given in the question, then also you might remember. But in this way, it's easier to track them back. Now, please understand, you do not remove your eyes from the screen while reading. You're just scribbling on your rough sheet. So take a clean area of your rough sheet and write line 1, line 3, line 5, line 7. You're just writing it. You're not looking at the sheet. You're just scribbling it there, so that it gives you a little bit of an advantage when you are solving the questions. Or you can make a mental note. Obviously, that's always there. If you're a good reader, you'll always make a mental note. That would be a practice that you would have kept for long. Therefore, you do not need me to tell you how to do it, right? You'll already be doing it. Now, so this question, which of the following word is opposite in the meaning of the word ignorance as used in the passage? If you see, I'm reading the question for the first time fully. So now what do you need? I need the opposite of the word ignorance. Now ignorance is something which means not knowing, and that's also clear from this line also. If I read this line, I sort of get that that's what they are saying. So foolishness, no. Idiocy, no. Knowledge, maybe. Innocence, no. Stupidity, no. So the only word that can be the antonym is C, and that is knowledge, right? So the answer is C. Hope you have got it correct. Next question. Now question number 2. In this, what is the question? The question is, what is opposite of the word theoretical? Now when I say what is opposite of the word theoretical, obviously you can do it without even reading the passage too. But then let's see whether theoretical was here. Which slow organic growth which have ever since provided the theoretical mainstay of colonialism. So theoretical means in theory. Now what will be the opposite it? Conceptual, no, that's meaning. Abstract, no, that's a little irrelevant. Pure, irrelevant. Practical, yes, that's the opposite. In theoretical is in theory, not in practice. Practical is in practice. Hypothesis is more or less a synonym to theoretical. So your answer is D. Your answer in this case is D. Clear? Chalo, let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Which of the following words is similar in meaning to the word hazard as used in the passage? Now, where has this word hazard been used? Second line. See, second line has been used. The revolution itself introduced the additional hazard of a left-wing anti-capitalist program such as was implicit in certain aspects of Jacobin dictatorship. So, hazard is something negative, that's for sure. Okay, so if you do not know the meaning of the word hazard, you might be only looking at out of the options, you might be trying to make out an answer. So let's see, hazard is a noun, that's for sure, and it is a negative noun. So jocular cannot be. Dangerous is not a noun but an adjective, so that's eliminated on that count. Officer doesn't make sense. Data doesn't make sense, irrelevant. So only thing that remains is peril, which is danger, which is a noun. So peril is the answer, right? So it is a jocular means jovial, means someone who makes a lot of light-hearted moments, jokes. So that is out at the first moment. C, grammatically incorrect. D and E, thematically incorrect, right? Next, question number 4. So if you had identified the areas, the answering these questions would not have been very difficult. Yes, you would have to go through the options, evaluate the option, eliminate them, if and if you do not know the meaning of the words, it's really very pretty difficult to get to the right option, if without practice of elimination technique. But with practice of elimination technique, even if you do not know the meaning of the word directly, you might be able to answer the question correctly. And if you look at the questions or the word meanings that has been asked in this particular passage, and you would see that they were very typically, they were not conventional, they were not unconventional. All of these words you should have known in one way or the other. They were very normal words. So let's move on to the next question. Which of the following words is similar to the meaning of the word movement as used in the passage? Now, where is movement used? Revolutionary movement, the social discontents, revolutionary movements, and socialist ideologies of the post-Napoleonic period intensified this dilemma, and the 1830 revolution made it acute. Now, in this question, I was not happy with the options, because this was an actual question from memory based paper. So I did not change it, but I was not really very happy with the options, because the options, none of the the best option was not there. Even the most least worse option was not available. So I went on with something that could not be eliminated, kind of. So proficient is something which means being good at it, diligent, being hardworking. Jostle, to fight. And corporal, again, that's this rank. So party is something that was could not be eliminated. It could have been eliminated if there had been a better option. But we'll have to mark one, so we would end up marking with sorry, we'll end up marking with the D. But essentially, if you look at this, the options were not very good, and this is the only question where I was there. And if you answered something else just because you couldn't find, that's perfectly fine. That could have happened. But anyways, as you know, we would have, in the all the 100 questions that you would get across the board in that paper, one or two questions a little ambiguous uh, might be a little ambiguous, and there was one of those, right? Okay, so we'll go on with the answer that had been that's the least, what do you say, the least worse option. Okay, right? Chalo, next question number 5. Which one of the following word is similar in meaning to the word acute as used in the passage? So in this question, if I look at it, acute is here, right? Alexis de Tocqueville, who devoted a remarkably acute intellect. Now, say remarkably is positive. Acute has to be something to do with positive. So positive intellect. So the tone is towards positive, and we saw that how tone was important in our fill in the blanks class also. So the tone is important, obviously, in reading comprehensions too. So acute has to be something positive. Slow-witted, dull, which means the same, is out. Chronic doesn't make sense, irrelevant in the context. And mild is not positive, but judicious is positive. And mild is neutrally positive, very, very, very less positive. Between judicious and mild, judicious wins the game hands down. So judicious is someone who is having an ability to determine, discern between right and wrong, right? So that's what judicious, sagacious, judicious. So acute can be replaced with judicious here. Remarkably judicious intellect to analyze, to the analysis of inherent tendencies of American democracy. So that's the only word that could have been. So A is the answer out here. A is the answer out here. Halfway through, let's move on to question number 6. Before the French Revolution, what was the main cause for alarm? Now, this main cause for alarm is here, the first sentence. See, from the first sentence only we have 2 questions. So this was easy. This was easy. This was an easy passage that ways. and you see this was an actual passage. So if you could have done it so easily, you have no reason to panic in the actual exam. So what is the main cause of alarm? Before the French Revolution, the main cause of alarm was ignorance and superstition, and that is option B. Clearly there, the reference point clearly states the answer, and that's there in your question, in your options. Question number 7. Who shielded away from political democracy? Now, why is political democracy? If you look at it, political democracy is in the 5th line. Now, if we look at 5th and the 6th line, so if you see there, political democracy is here. So, who shied away? Practical liberals on the continent shield away from the political democracy. So, who shielded away from political democracy? The practical liberals, the option C, right? Okay. Question number 8. What did the triple slogan of the French Revolution express when noted in a single word? Now, this is directly given. Triple slogan is here. Now, if you look at this whole sentence, read the whole sentence. Liberalism and democracy appear to be adversaries rather than allies in the triple slogan of the French Revolution. Liberty, equality, fraternity, to express a contradiction rather than a combination. This is given in there. So, what does it express? A contradiction. Your answer is D. See, all of these questions were direct questions where the answers were directly related from to the passage, fact-based answers. Question number 9. Who has proved to be particularly congenial to moderate liberals in the Western world? So, where is this? Is in the ending stages here, particularly congenial. Now, if we look at it, who is this? I'll need the name. So, where is that name? The name is here. Alexis de Tocqueville, who devoted a remarkably acute intellect to the analysis of the inherent tendencies of the American democracy and laid it to those of the French Revolution, has survived best among those modern liberal critics of democracy, or rather he has proved particularly congenial to. So who is this he? Alexis de Tocqueville, and it is the third option, the C option, right? The last question. Which of these thinkers was anxious about safeguarding the rights of the minorities? John Stuart Mill's anxiety to safeguard the rights of minorities. Can it be simpler than this? The last line. So who is it? John Stuart Mill, the option A, right? Okay. So these were the answers to the question. How did you fare? What was your score in this test? I suppose the score was good, right? It was a very simple passage, and the questions were direct. And the beauty of it, this is an actual passage that came in previous one of the previous years. So if the paper, if you felt that this particular passage was easy, then you see that that confidence should run you home when you attempt the actual paper of IBPS 2018. That questions are not really that difficult as they are made out to be. They are just what they are, and most of the times in the preliminary exam you would get easy question. Yes, time would be limited, time would be short, time would be limited, but they would be direct questions which could be answered if you go on in the process that we spoke about. See, this process that we spoke about, how much time would you take? 1 minute, 30 seconds, 30 seconds for the 2 slides to read the questions. So 1 minute to read the questions, 1 minute to let's say read the passage, and around 4, I mean, in some of the cases you would not need 30 seconds to answer the question. In most of the cases, I'm sure that you'll be able to answer the question within 15 to 20 seconds, right? So, but still, I'm taking that you are taking 30 seconds to answer the question, so 5 minutes to answer the 10 questions. So 7 minutes is that what you would be taking to do these questions. 7 minutes out of the 20 minutes that you have, right? So 7 minutes, and if you have scored more than 7 or 8, good, that's it, you have done your job. So that's how let's look at these codes, and you'll have already must have guessed what would be a good score in this. 9-10 would be a very good score in this, right? 7-8 good score. 6 average, below 6 not a good score. You need to improve a lot if it's 6 in this kind of below 6 in these kind of passages. The easy passage, easy question, so you should have been able to, even the passage was difficult. How does it matter? Let's say the passage was of a topic which you did not have much of an understanding, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because your idea of a difficult passage should be whether the questions were more inferential or no nature or not. If the questions are fact-based nature, they can be screened out from the passage from the data that has been given in the passage, then they are not difficult at all, right? And that was the kind of passage that this was. So friends, practice a lot of questions and read a lot. Read a lot. In general reading, do a lot of general reading and practice RCs, obviously, right? So these are the only two ways where you can be better at it. Okay, and those who have got a more than 8 score, they also don't become lethargic. They should not become lethargic. They also should focus on regular practice on this, right? Try to reduce the time that you take for solving the question. This passage could have been done within 5 to 6 minutes. Now if you save that time, you'll be able to give it to another question or another topic, right? Chalo, that will be all for today. Hope you like this session. Thank you very much. If you have any question or query regarding any of the questions that we discussed, you put it in the comment section. Okay, thank you very much and all the best.